Here we go. One of the areas consumers struggle with the most is coming up with the right questions to ask potential real estate agents that they're looking to hire, whether you're buying or selling. We have some suggestions for you when you are about to embark on interviewing an agent to find the right one for you. We all know finding the right agent can be hard. There's a lot of difficult things to think about, and all too often it's too late in the transaction when you actually learn you've hired the wrong one. Here are some questions and some reasonings for those questions for you to consider asking your current or potential real estate agent.
That's true, Robbie. A lot of people do not know the best questions to ask. And that's why I am super excited today to try to help people out with some of these questions.
Cool. I think this is going to be a fun little topic here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a ton of fun too. Let's dive in. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Give me your first question that you would suggest somebody to ask.
Okay, so my first question, and like this is one of my favorite to ask a potential real estate agent, is going to be what type of real estate market will I experience?
Oh, that's a good one. That's probably one that people don't actually even know to ask.
Exactly.
It affects so much in the transaction.
It does. It affects the amount of time the transaction might take. It affects so many of the logistics of the entire thing and also the working relationship that you're going to need to have with that real estate agent.
Absolutely, because you know what, Carrie, if you are looking to sell a home, this is going to be critical to know what to expect. How long is it going to take not only to get your property sold, but
Yes.
what is it going to take to get an offer? And are you priced correctly for the current market that you're in? And then on the
Mhm.
flip side, for a buyer, how long is it going to take me to find a house? Is there enough inventory for me, or is it,
Right.
do I need to be prepared to jump to go look at a house, or can I just wait and schedule that for the weekend? Because not everybody has the immediate schedule that can just take, drop, and roll is what I call it, and go look at houses.
Stop, drop, and look at houses. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's really true. And yeah, in some markets, you get into a situation where if you see a house you like, you really need to go that day. And there are other market conditions where, like you said, maybe you can wait until the weekend. And yeah, really important to know from your agent going into it which one of those situations is going to apply to you. And it can be different at a given time. It can be different in different neighborhoods or different cities or different areas of cities.
yeah, just looking at the news and it's saying, oh, we're here and this is what the inventory is and everything like that. It doesn't actually take it down to the specific area that you're looking for a property or selling a property, because your neighborhood may be the exception to the rule, or you may have
Right.
a whole lot of inventory right in your neighborhood, and you need to either, you can wait, or is it more important to get on the market right now? There's a
Right.
lot of different factors that affect that decision making process that agents need to be advising their clients, but the clients really need to be asking, because a lot of agents aren't going to talk specifics with them unless they really know the area.
Yeah, that's really true.
Another question that I really, and I think needs to be asked more, are you a part time or a full agent in real estate?
Ooh, I love that question.
Because there's a lot of agents out there when the market is doing great and it's up here, they jump in. And I think since COVID, we've had a third of the agents in Texas are all since 2020. That's how
Oh,
many
no.
people have jumped in. If they don't have that long-term experience and they don't have that ability to really answer some of those critical questions, especially if they're part-time, they have less availability, they have less
Right.
time to take classes or work with their mentor or broker. And it can be a nightmare for a lot of people who aren't designed to work with that, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
And
Mm.
different people like to look at houses at different times. What if you're looking and you're a buyer and you can look during the day and that's your
Mhm.
preference time versus at night or in the evenings? At night, no, you're not going to be going and looking at houses, but you may be doing some of that research. I'm
Yeah.
not picking you out to look at a house at midnight, whether it's vacant or not, but
No.
full or part time is one of those critical questions, because it leads into other questions, but really knowing if they're going to have the time to commit to you, because
Mhm.
of the fact that during the day, so much of the deal is done once you find the house.
Right.
Yes, the agent and the client are going to be working very closely together during the showings and then writing the contract and stuff and making those offers. But at the same time, you've got to have the time to negotiate, to go through the inspections with the buyer or
Mhm.
review them with your seller and really work those. And what many consumers need to understand, and a lot of the agents need to understand, most of our time deadlines end at 5 p.m. So having a full-time job and doing real estate isn't going to facilitate you a very good plan of action at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's something that really concerns me with especially new agents, and they get in and they're going to do it part-time. You've got to really be able to have a management style within your brokerage to be able to facilitate their learning and help them at night or at other times. And sometimes when I hire part-time agents, I'm having to go into inspections and stuff like that because they're at work. That's
Yeah.
not the right situation.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Excuse me. What do you have another question that you really like? Cause I got a couple in my head.
Yeah, I do. So the next one I really like is, do I work directly with you or with members of your team?
Ooh, that's amazing. Cause I'm
Yeah.
always telling my clients when we're looking for mortgage people, do you want to work with an individual that
Mhm.
has full control of your file and knows everything that's going on? Or are you okay with a team that may be putting notes into a CRM and that's how everybody's getting updated? Or what's your style there?
Because each client is going to prefer a different style. Some clients want to be talking to the very same person every time they pick up the phone to make a call. Other clients are going to be okay, like you said, with that team of people that are coordinating to answer their calls and meet their needs.
Yeah.
If there is a team, I always recommend that people ask, will I get a chance to meet everyone at the beginning? Is there going to be kind of an onboarding?
Yeah. And not like a YouTube video introducing all the team.
Yeah, you can actually sit down face to face or over Zoom and just get to talk to all of the people that are going to be handling this incredibly important thing that you're about to be doing.
So that
That's
works
always
with
something to look for.
that's really good with real estate and mortgage because, you know,
Yeah.
we have the individual agents in our office. We work it as a team, and I'm really helping and facilitating with a lot of our team members on their team, helping them. Not that they need it and they can't do real estate, but it makes them more empowered when they have more eyes, thoughts, and reasonings and logic behind decisions.
Exactly. Yeah, so true. Another kind of follow up question that falls in that category is, if you are working with a team, find out who your primary point of contact is going to be. If you
Yeah.
have an urgent question that needs to be answered right now, who do you call? Who do you text? Who do you email? Kind of establishing that at the beginning can really help you set everyone up for a successful relationship during the whole time you spend either buying or selling your house, depending on which one you're doing.
Yeah, because Carrie, a lot of consumers will get a real estate agent to represent them. And then after they go under contract, they pass them off to somebody else.
Mm,
That agent is not really involved in, they're not as hands on as they were in the beginning.
right.
And it's okay for some people, but for other consumers, they don't like that. They feel like, okay, now you
Yeah.
have time for me. And it's the same way with sellers. Because if you've got one agent facilitating both sides of the transaction,
Mhm.
then in essence, the seller who hired that agent and that was their exclusive agent, if that agent then is facilitating the transaction with the buyer as well, they've lost their agent basically, as far as
Right.
being able to give them advice and opinions. And that's
Yeah.
really critical to understand both on a buyer side and on a seller side. Different things happen at different places, especially as dictated by Texas law. So we need to make sure that everybody understands that. And even if you're working with a team, I didn't hire you because of your team. I hired you because of your reputation. And now I don't get to talk to you.
Yeah. And sometimes you talk to an agent, you really make a good personal connection with them and you think, wow, this person's going to be awesome to work with for the next few months. And then they hand you off to a team and don't speak with you after that. That can be really frustrating. That's a
Yeah.
good, going in.
Yeah. One of the things that I've seen happen time and time again is agents have made a bad hire. or they get a contract
Mhm.
close person who is a bad addition to their team because the personality of the agent and the communication style that they've developed between them and their client, they don't match up. They're not in sync. Like the
Right.
contract close person could be harsh and hard to deal with or just have a different countenance or the way that they phrase
Yeah.
and say things. And the client is taken aback by, "Who are you?" And,
Right.
I don't wanna work with them, because I know a bunch of agents, and when they've hired a contract to close person that doesn't emulate their same style and manner, even communication, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so." So, good question on teams. One of my favorite, being an instructor in Texas as well as being a broker, is what makes you competent in this area? And in the
Mm.
area, in this area of real estate and this location, all of those things, and even price range, because different price ranges take on a whole different set of skills.
True.
And luxury real estate is completely different than the regular real estate that's out there. The same way with lots or farm and ranch or
Mhm.
multifamily or even commercial. Commercial is a whole different little ball of wax. And
Right.
when you really jump into this competency question, it really does fit in the fact of how educated are you? How many transactions have you done
Mhm.
within this type of property set? And my favorite, as you're well gonna know, is how detailed is your comparative market analysis?
Yeah.
The CMA that you're gonna present, when do I get to see it, and how detailed is it? Is it a quote, unquote, "quick CMA" that it takes an agent half a second to run out of an MLS that doesn't do anything but list the properties and a price per square foot? Is that really a competent CMA? I'm gonna say no, it's not. And we push a lot of paper, but we have to really use the skills that we've learned in real estate to jump in and benefit our client. You're not any kind of certification or designation that you've take those classes that you've earned those certifications or designations. And we all see those little alphabets after realtor names.
Yep.
But seriously, what have you taken in the point of education? What certifications, what designations? Why have you taken them? How can they benefit me as your client? Because we have certifications and designations for real estate in general, for working with buyers and working with sellers. And
Right.
we really have to jump in as well as even different areas. Commercial has the CCIM
Mhm.
certification and there's different farm and ranch ones. And what's your specialty? It's like hiring an attorney or a doctor. But you don't want to go to a general practitioner if you really need an ear, nose, and throat doctor, or if you need someone who specializes in reproductive rights, or even in the aspect of brain surgery. What's a
Yeah.
general practitioner? You want the actual person who is the best for you.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Competency is a huge thing in my book. And I can go off on a 45-minute little diatribe on it every single time. But seriously, competency reaches far and wide when it comes to representing your clients. And it's not only knowing what's going on in the MLS, but it's also what's going on in the community. This
Right.
new home neighborhood that you really, and that home that backs up to this gorgeous ranch. Is that always going to be a ranch, or is it going to have a 4-lane road right behind you? And agents need to know this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So true. It makes such a huge difference. Yeah.
So, got another question for me?
Yeah. So how about this one? How many clients are you currently representing?
Oh, now that's a good one because
Yeah.
you spend all your time getting educated and never have any on the job experience.
And it's also good to know how many clients someone's currently working with because it can give you a window into how much time they're going to have to devote to you.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's a duplicity to that and a duality where you may think that it's really great if they're representing 30 buyers and you're a buyer, or 30 listings and you're selling. But it also could mean that they don't have any time to dedicate to you.
and
That happy medium, finding it.
Yeah, that happy medium. And if you do find out that they're representing a higher number of clients than you may have expected, a good follow-up question is ask them to explain the system that they have in place to make sure that everyone gets what they need and they get what they need on time. Yeah, there are a lot of agents who do represent a high number of buyers and sellers, but they have a very well-oiled system in place with a team that is taking care of everyone's needs so that nothing falls through the cracks. And as long as they can explain that to you and how it works and that you're comfortable with it, that can be an okay thing, I think.
Yeah, because we're very invested in systems and
Right.
having it and knowing exactly where everything is and what line it fits in. And if we have a different situation occur, we have another system for that.
Mhm.
And it not only helps us stay organized, but it lets the me help you when you're working with a client and have more information, and it just systemizes and it makes it so much simpler.
Yeah, love having systems.
You and I work very well together when with clients, whether it's my client, it's the client came in for me or the
Mhm.
client came in under you. We work really well on that aspect, which I love.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So do you think that representing a lot of clients at the same time is a bad thing, or do you think it's okay?
I I don't think it's always a bad thing. I think it can be okay as long as you go into the situation again, understanding what's in place to make sure that you don't fall through the cracks. And if that's something that you're comfortable with, by all means, if you're more comfortable with an agent that's representing a fewer number of clients that can devote more time to you specifically, that's okay too. It's up to your personal preference. This is a person that you're going to have to work closely with through this super important transaction, buying or selling. And it's important to be working with someone whose parameters make you comfortable.
I think you just really hit the nail on the head there, because parameters that make you comfortable is really something that I don't have a question for it, but it is a topic that's near and dear because the level we
Right.
talk about agents and working with agents. And I said earlier that sometimes you don't find this out or you don't learn more about the agent until you're working with them.
Yeah.
And when it really comes down to it is I'm sure you've got the a question about responsiveness and everything, but when it comes to really understanding how many clients that you're representing at the same time and thinking about the systems that they have, it comes into, do they answer the phone when they're working with other clients? And that's the thing that I don't do. If I am working with a client, whether I'm showing them a house or we're doing contracts, and
Mhm.
there's something that comes up with another client that I know is urgent, and I know that I've got to take this call, I preset that with my client at the
Mhm.
onslaught of our appointment time. Other than that, I pretty much don't answer the phone. And I don't put people in my car, clients in my car, if we're going to look at other things or whatever, just simply because I need that time in between to make sure that
Mhm.
everything is going smoothly with agents as well as other clients.
Right.
But if you're out looking with an agent for a piece of property and they're always on the phone while you're looking at it, it's probably not going to be the right agent for you. And
Mhm.
they may be too busy and they may not have taken the necessary steps to add to their team,
Right.
whether it's for to have backup. And for some, the reason that I'm even mentioning it is because people have thought, okay, hold on, you don't have enough time or I'm not important enough. And I don't think with those agents, it's necessarily a level of importance. It's just you've got so many things going on at the same time. You're trying to be everything to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't, right?
No, absolutely not. That's what we call a hot mess.
So I think that setting those boundaries is important because if you have a client that understands that I'm not going to pick up the phone while I am talking or working with you, I'm
Mhm.
also not going to pick up your calls when I'm working with another client, but I will call
Right.
you back kind of thing,
Right.
which comes right back into the question of, Carrie, what's the best way to keep in contact? What's the best way to reach you and during
Yeah.
the entire process?
Yeah, and that's such an important question because everyone has their own preferred contact methods. You may like a phone call, you may like a text message, you may like an email. Yeah, it may depend on the situation, but the agent that you're talking to should be willing to meet you where you are and use the contact method or the methods that you prefer. If you like to receive a text when your agent finds an awesome house that you may want to go look at, your agent should be willing to do that.
or
If you're
any of
not, yeah, exactly. And then you should also ensure that the agent has systems in place to make sure that when you do contact them, your questions are received and they're handled quickly within the amount of time that they need to be handled. So, just like you were talking about, Robbie, if you happen to be with another client and can't get to the phone at that moment, your other clients still know that you're going to get back to them within X amount of time because you've set that up in advance. They know that's going to happen. So, you just want to receive that assurance from a potential agent that, yes, your concerns will be handled. And when you need something, you can count on them because ultimately that's what it comes down to. You have to be able to count on that person.
Yeah, you do. Very much.
Yeah.
I had somebody, a gentleman call me the other morning. It was like 8:30 in the morning. And it's not that I was asleep. I was totally awake and I was already into my day,
Mhm.
but I didn't recognize the number and I was doing something. So what I was doing took precedence over taking this phone call,
Mm.
and there was no voicemail left. And immediately the same number came across, and then it came across again, and it came across again. And I was like, okay, now I'm getting aggravated.
Right.
Well, I am in Google right now, Googling the phone number to see if I can come up with what this is. Then I get a voice message that says, "Call me back.
Intriguing.
Call me back." And so then the phone rings again with the same number. And I'm not
Oh my
my
goodness.
cell phone has 2 lines on it, 2 specific lines, not an app that has 2 lines. It's got 2 separate lines. And this individual was calling on 1 line the entire time. And so I was watching because they're color coded. Everything's color coded.
Right.
I finally answered the phone and I was a little perturbed with it. And I said, "Hello." It was a consumer demanding to talk to me because they wanted to work with me. And I already didn't want to work with them.
Oh, wow.
And that right there, 15 calls, you want to talk to me the exact moment that you need something already tells me that I'm never going to make you happy. And I'm certainly not going to deal with that kind of behavior because what if I'm not working with another client? This was simply,
Right.
I want you to represent me. I want to work with you. That's great. And that's wonderful. And I love that they wanted to, but that kind of behavior told me I didn't really want to work with them.
And it sounds if the call needs to be answered right then, no matter what, that might not be a reasonable expectation all the time.
Yeah, because not all the time are our calendars going to mesh. Not
Yeah.
all the time are we going to have the availability to talk at the same time.
Right.
And yes, Americans can go to any freaking drive through and get food instantly. So at McDonald's, then somewhere like maybe Chick-fil-A, you're going to be waiting in the line, or Whataburger, you're going to have probably a line of people that you're going to have to wait on, or even what's the one from California that I really, that it was
Is that In-N-Out Burger?
In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to get it one of their In-N-Out burgers, protein style, no bun. But at the same time, I don't call my dentist and expect to talk to the dentist immediately. I don't call an attorney and expect, can you call a doctor and even get them on the phone? And I'm a professional as well. And I was like, I understand this, but there was no, leave me a message. That
Yeah.
response time thing. You mean this person called, he called, and I was like, boiled much? Seriously. I
That sounds intense.
couldn't handle it. I was just
That
like,
sounds very intense.
really mad.
Yeah.
And so then in course of the conversation, I said, so can you please answer a question for me? Can you tell me at this time why you calling me 7 times today in the last 7, 10 minutes was necessary? I really want to talk to you. I'm looking for an agent, blah, blah, blah. Oh,
Oh,
hey, that's wonderful. I'm glad.
A for
I ain't,
enthusiasm.
I ain't it. And I ain't even passing you off to an agent I know. I am. I do not need problems with other agents because I've referred them from a pain in the ass. No, it was just okay. So anyway, that's my little segue and diatribe. But really, I get you on the best way to stay in contact with people, and please understand that's within reason, right? Don't you mean that within reason? Don't expect me to download the What's It or What's Up app or whatever that thing is. I
Right.
don't
Yeah. Within reason.
I certainly don't want to get videos from you on Snapchat with all different kinds of filters with different headgear or whatever. I don't even know if we can do that anymore. I think,
Yeah, that could be fun.
yeah, but that's not the way that I want to communicate because this is
Right.
professional business here.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I just,
That actually, you telling that
great.
story actually brings me around to the last point that I wanted to make about the contact question. And that's up front, ask what the response time is and just set those boundaries up front. If I call you and leave a message, what is your response time? End of day, 24 hours, 3 hours, and just set that up at the very beginning
Yeah.
and make sure you're comfortable with the answer that agent gives you.
Yeah. Cause I do pretty good. I try very hard, don't I, to reach out.
You
You've left me
respond
more than a couple of messages and what's
very
my
quickly.
response time?
Yeah, you respond very quickly.
Yeah, I try very hard and I work in time during my day. Usually I take 10 minutes to make every hour to try and make sure that I'm following up with what's going on.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, come on. I was just like, if you had a property you wanted me to sell or wanted me to show you a house, I couldn't just even imagine the tantrum that was going to be thrown on that working with that guy.
Mhm.
It was like, oh. So one of those other questions that's still on the top of my mind is how long have you been in the business?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And it can seem intimidating for some people. In May, it was 38 years.
Ooh,
But
congratulations.
no, I need some work. But at the same time, it has to do with experience. And somebody can be in the business a long time and only sell 2 houses, or
That's
they could
true.
be in the business a short time and sell a bunch. But if an agent has been in the business for a short amount of time, what's their support system? What do they have? If they come on and they're a brand new agent, do they have a broker that's involved who
Mhm.
actually knows? Because I may get some heat for saying this, but hey, it's Texas. I'm used to heat. There are real estate companies out there that their broker manager, their managing broker, their team leader, their whatever doesn't know a hill of beans about real estate. And oftentimes they will use that person in their marketing and advertising, and they're really good about teaching them business related stuff,
Mhm.
but they know nothing about the practice of real estate. And
Right.
you really have to know the support system and find out a little bit more about them. I've gotten on
Right.
interviews with some of my agents' clients in the past to answer questions where my and I already this week I got on the a conference call with one of our agents and their client because it was a higher level of questioning and I didn't want it all. mm, Some things get lost in translation. I wanted to know
Right.
specific questions so we knew the specific steps to take that best represented them.
Yeah,
And not every real estate company is like that, and not every broker
that's
is like.
true.
And to me, it really matters not only how long have you been in the business, but your support staff and the support people in the brokerage that you're at. How can they help you? Because I may have been in this business for a long time, but there are still questions in situations that I have never come across that I
Mhm.
have turned to a special little group of my friends who know and may have experienced this
Yeah,
because it sometimes takes a village to close a real estate transaction, just like it does to raise a kid.
that's true. That's a
But
really good way to put it.
a lot of people can get caught up on how many transactions have you closed. But here's the situation: if you don't couple that with the question that we talked about above, which was the education,
Mhm.
and get into real estate and think you know everything, and then you do everything the same way and it's wrong the entire time.
That's
And
a good point.
doing it all wrong and exposing your client to amazing litigation potential where they're going to have to hire an attorney. They could expose them to all kinds of issues. and they don't ever know it because they haven't gotten the education and the knowledge, and their brokerage manager or team lead isn't educating them in real estate. I understand
Mhm.
running a business is important, but our business is real estate. If you can't do the transaction, you shouldn't even be worrying about business classes.
That's true.
Oh my gosh. I am
So
on
true.
fire to Julia Baker reporting for duty. No. Yeah, get me off the soapbox. But it really does matter not only how long you've been in the business, but really that educational that we've already talked about because
Right.
it takes a village sometimes.
It really does. I love that you put it that way. It it really does take a village.
I owe credit to somebody. I don't know who came up with that term, but I really think that's important.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That actually brings us into the last question that I have here, and that is, do you have a network of local professionals?
But that's such a multifaceted question, and that's
I
gonna take
know.
a little bit of time, so I'm gonna kick back a little bit here. So, give me a little bit more on, do you have a network of local professionals? Do you know everybody that handles housing or farm and ranch related services?
Yeah, when we're talking about network of local professionals, we're talking about a lot of different people. So you can talk about contractors, you can talk about insurance professionals, lawyers, lenders, other agents is one of our most powerful networks that we're a part of. Knowing other agents to help connect our buyers and sellers with good opportunities for them. But also those contractors, knowing contractors that can come in and make repairs or get things done or give quotes that will answer our calls and come out quickly, that's a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, so
That's such a huge deal.
story time. We just did this with a listing that you had,
Uh-huh.
and we
Yes.
just found a roofer
A
who
brilliant roofer.
a
Love this
roofer
guy.
who can tell the story because 'cause I'm gonna just butcher it, I know.
We needed a roof looked at quickly because we'd gotten some different answers on the condition of the roof
And
during the option period.
it was under contract,
Yeah, so we were working with the deadline and we needed a professional answer about this roof and what was wrong with it and what it would take to fix. And he was able to come out next day, look at the roof, give his professional opinion. We were working with an insurance company as well to get this done. And when we spoke with the insurance agent who was handling the whole deal, we said, look, we've had a roofer come out. We'd love if you could give us your determination quickly because we're in an auction period right now. Again, we're working on a deadline. And we said, here's the name of our roofer. And the insurance agent said, oh, yeah, I know him. He's great. Let me just give him a call directly. So, yeah,
and the clients loved him.
yes, the clients absolutely loved this roofer. And once he got the job all lined up, he was able to come out within, I think it was maybe just over a week. He was able to get the materials out there and start the work and just essentially helped us all stay on track to meet all the deadlines and make everybody involved happy.
But he had a reputation that
He had a
was so
reputation.
good with that insurance company that the insurance company guy not only said recognized the name, but said, "I'll
Yeah.
shoot him a call."
Yeah.
And they took what the roofer said in great detail
Right.
into this claim.
Right.
So you're right that having a local network of professionals is important, but also not just pulling them out of the yellow pages, but
No.
pulling out of experience and having a good reputation and knowing what they're doing and being respected in their field is important.
Yeah. And having worked with them before, like now that I've had clients work with this one roofer, like I know how he works. I know that he works quickly and understands deadlines and his supply. I'm just really saying some amazing things about this roofer. Is the people delivering the supplies actually did some damage to one of the gutters. And my clients informed him of that. And he said, oh, we'll take care of it. Like he didn't blame the people that it wasn't him. It wasn't him that damaged the gutter. It was literally the people that were delivering the shingles for the roof. But he said, oh, that's cool. I've got it. I'll take care of it.
That same roofer has gone out on another property and had the exact same experience.
Not
So
crazy.
it's been really cool. But there's other contractors
Right.
that we need to be well informed about.
Yeah. Yeah. Foundation people, painters are super, super important. People that work on floors, HVAC people. I had Cleaning, yeah,
maid service, cleaning services,
make readies, pre-sale cleanings, deep cleanings,
home
um,
staging,
home staging, yeah. Property
property rest.
restoration, we
Why
always
why
hope
don't
that
we
we
both
don't
think about that at the same time?
yeah, we always hope that we don't need that one. When you need a good property restoration company, you really need one, so,
Right.
glad we know some of those. Property management also comes into play for a lot of clients if they have
Yeah, 'cause I do not like property management. That is I did that for far too long, and it is not a fun hill of beans to jump into. It's just not for me, but knowing some of the best property managers in the areas that we work is crucial because
right,
taken advantage of, and they can really screw up your world when it comes to not only your tenants, but your property.
yeah, that's so true.
But it also includes agents that we work with across the nation and across the globe,
Right,
because you may actually be looking or have a reason to need to go to another state or move there. Things in life change, and having that resource to it's hard enough to move to a new area and not know anybody, but to find and have to depend on somebody that you have no clue about, because we always say, "Oh, get a
yeah,
referral." If you're going to an area that there's no way to get a referral from, you
right,
probably gonna be another real estate agent, and hopefully they're just not picking up and jumping on Facebook and, "Hey, does anybody work in this area?" Hopefully they're really talking to people.
yeah.
So I think that really does make a difference. We've actually given a bunch of really good questions here. I think we've talked about
Yeah,
what kind of market that we're going to experience. Are you
mhm,
part time? Are you full time? Am I working with you in that or a team?
mhm,
And as well as we talked about competency and how many clients are you representing, and understanding that just because it's a big number doesn't mean it's a good choice.
yeah,
Also, communication style, and everybody communicates differently, but understanding what that communication style is, the length of time in the business, and really what are some of the people that you can refer us to? Those are all
mhm,
pretty amazing questions.
yeah, those are good questions to ask.
I enjoyed this, and I hope that everybody gets something out of it too. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here.